Nykaa or FSN E-Commerce. It's up 10% in trade right now. It's also hit its one-year high in today's day of trade. We have Mahima joining us to give us some key details. Mahima, why the stock movement?
Well, Mehika, a couple of things. In terms of volumes, it's been 3 times its 30-day average, and it did touch an intraday high of almost 18.5%. Now, there was a block deal, of course, today, which was around 1.02 million shares. But overall, Nykaa has done well in Q1, where net profits were up around 49%. Margins have, however, slightly taken a hit, but revenue was also up 5%. But overall, in terms of key highlights, their gross merchandise value growth was around 25% for Q1. Beauty and fashion also grew by 28% and 15% respectively. New customer additions were up around 27% YOY, and total orders also grew by 26%. The average basket size grew by 11%, and average order value also went up by 21%. Overall, even the reduction of packaging cost went down by 16%. In terms of channel mix also, the online and the store channel grew faster as compared to the general trade and modern trade. Online is around 56% right now, store is around 21%, general trade and modern trade is around 21% as we speak in Q1 FY25. And lastly, they've also bought an additional 39, they will buy an additional 39% stake in Dot & Key for rupees 265 crores, and then their holding in Dot & Key will become 90% overall.
Mahima, stay with us. When you talk about Nykaa as a company, what are the kind of focus areas? How are market shares as well as, capacity additions in terms of warehouses looking like? Could you give us more details on that?
Sure. So, in terms of focus area, well, Nykaa right now is focusing on the prestige fragrance area, where the major margins are coming from, and they're doubling down on the prestige fragrance to gain market share as well. In terms of market share in FY24, it was roughly around 13%, but in FY25, they estimate their total market share to be around 19%. They've also introduced Nykaa Play, which they've gamified beauty on their app, and this has led to a 35% higher cart addition as well as a 30% higher visits per visitor. In terms of store addition, in 3 years, they've in the past 8 years, first 100 stores were added in the first 8 years. However, the next 100 stores were just added in 2 years. So this July marked 200 stores, overall total of 200 stores for Nykaa. In terms of warehouses, in 3 years, warehouses have grown more than 2.5 times. In Q1 FY25, around 44 warehouses were there with Nykaa. In terms of order to delivery days, this is reduced by 45% in 3 years, from 4 days to 2.2 on an average. And capacity wise also, they've increased the capacity by 2.5 times in the last 3 years, from 0.6 per million square feet to 1.5 million per square feet. And in terms of what the street is estimating in terms of the Nykaa share, well, there are 15 buy calls, 5 hold calls, and 4 sell calls for Nykaa.